who the hell are you?
I'm just a man making a stand for his country.
Hey Rona, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. I
Lovely to
watched
see you.
same here. I saw Hounds of War. You were fantastic in this movie. I've been a fan of your stuff for a while now, and
Oh,
you did such a great job on this movie.
thanks, Albert. I appreciate it. It's very nice to hear. Thank you.
So my first question is, what inspired you to take on this role?
Oh, I got sent the script. That helps. And the decision had to be made in a very short space of time. I think, God, I was given like 72 hours to say whether I would do it or not because they needed to. It would just all happen very quickly. I've worked with Frank Grillo before, so I knew him. The project was shooting in Malta, which is sort of a no-brainer. I think it was, I live in the Southern Hemisphere, so I think it was coming into spring, summer there, and I was like, I could do with some sun on my bones. Isaac Florentine is obviously, a renowned film director in the fight dance world, as I call it. And I love working with great choreographers. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so it was an opportunity for me to go and play in that world. And so it was just a yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really liked the one fight that really stood out for me was you and your crew taking on a bunch of guys in this one scene, and I love the way that David Wald shot, choreographed the fight along with Isaac's trademark. I even call him an action director. I call Isaac an action auteur because he's got this trademark style when he's shooting action scenes, and he employed it here. And you got to team up with, for me, like these upcoming legends like Mike Muller, Eskinder Tesfaye, Lee Charles. What was it like working with those guys?
They're just gentlemen. They're just stellar. They're always the best. They're always the best people on any set. They're the most organized, the most structured, the most disciplined, the most polite, the most humble. And they always just make you feel like you're in the best hands ever and so patient. Even though we just didn't have much time, but it's my job is always trying to get a good report card for those guys. I want to, when the scene is like we've done a take or whatever it is, that I didn't mess it up, that I didn't take off someone's nose, and that when they watch that playback and I see their faces and they give a thumbs up and they look over at me and I've done them proud. It's the best feeling. It supersedes I mean, it's great that the director gives you, but when those guys give you a thumbs up, when your fight partner looks at you and goes, we nailed it, it's the best feeling ever. It's a team, because it's a team sport. And you want to win for everybody, and you want to make them look good because they're so flipping good at what they do that you don't want to mess it up for them because you're representing them.
Yeah.
So there was no stunt doubles on this movie for me, and either rarely as far as fight sequences, I always do my own stunts. But this was, like you said, it's so trademark, so specific. These guys are so stellar that I wanted to make sure that I was really showing up for that, at the same time not abandoning what I bring to the equation, which is basically making sure that the character is seen underneath the choreography. That's super important. And a lot of the times when you're working with very high level, stunt choreographers, it can become too much of a ballet. So you have to also undress it. You have to mess it up. You have to ruffle it up and make it a little bit, more rugged around the edges. And that's something that I know Frank really loves to do. And I certainly really like to do. So you see the character, you don't just see dance moves.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing I really liked about the film, because your chemistry with Frank was really good in this, because you got this little history, and I think that really helped, that the fact that you worked with him before. I think it really brought more of the chemistry between the two of you in this film.
I mean, I would say it would be impossible that it didn't, because there's a familiarity. And also, I think that we're able to sort of dial that in with each other, really in a really short space of time. I can listen, it doesn't always work out. You can work with people and it can send you in the other direction.
Yeah.
The good thing about both Frank and I is that we have some similarities in the right places and not in the others, and it works because we can kind of hone in on each other's. We both have a little bit of well, he's got a lot of a pit bull in him. I got a little bit of a pit bull in me. And when we kind of go, okay, we're not going to kill each other, We're gonna play nicely. It's fun because then you can see that we could kill each other, and as long as you can see that, it's kind of like, are these guys gonna kill each other, or are they gonna hug each other to death? That's a nice space to be.
It is, and that's, and I've seen, like I said, I'm a fan of your stuff. I've seen you done some
Right.
total badass roles. I mean, I feel like eventually you're gonna rank up there with like the likes of a Michelle Yeoh or Cynthia Rothrock down the road because you got it. You got that spunk, you got the skill set, and you even got the emotional aspect. So you're like the total package, in my opinion.
Oh, bless you. Can you please go and tell, some like really big directors that? So, then maybe I can get those opportunities. That would be great. Put a word in, will you?
Awesome. So what's next for you after Hounds of War? Is there any new stuff? Are we going to see you kicking more butt on screen soon?
I've got a little Wink and a Wiggle coming out in Red Sonja, but other than that, I'm focusing at the moment on my nonprofit. I have a horse sanctuary in South America, which is where I'm at right now. So I'm focusing on creating some projects around here. So I'm sort of doing a bit of a balance of putting eggs in different baskets so I can concentrate on some things on kind of kicking ass in a different world, in more of the sort of like the conservation activism world. That's sort of where my heart is at, is all of that training from all of these characters and putting all of that passion and all of that fight into the real world, because I think that's important. I think it's important that we care about other things as well as
Exactly.
our fictional characters. So
Exactly.
yeah, watch the space.
Awesome. Well, Hounds of War is now out on digital. If you're a fan of Isaac Florentine and you're a fan of Rhona, you definitely want to check this one out. She just has the total package in this film as well. And Rhona, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you.
All
You
right.
take
Take
care.
care. Stay
Have a
awesome.
lovely one.
You
Bye,
too.
Albert.
Bye.
Bye bye.